The breathing in the background that you hear is Colleen giggling. Welcome back to the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast. Colleen Bertino.
Yay! I'm not ill.
You're not ill.
I'm not ill. And I missed all of the, the other shows, not that they weren't fun, but when you miss cocktails and a woman and another woman speaking so frankly about sex, and I'm at home being ill, I'm like, I know. I was pouty face.
I know. It's kind of bad. It's pretty bad, Megan Vaughn, when you say to somebody, how are you? Not ill. It's like, oh, okay. Well, okay. How are you?
I'm also not ill. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
Me, nobody stole a kidney, so I guess I'm
there
good.
You go.
Yeah, I see no ice packs anywhere. We're doing fine.
We're doing really well. So we've got Megan and Colleen here for this week's episode 12, actually, of the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast. And well, let's just talk a little bit about last week and everything that you missed. Mrs. Sin came to the show, and you heard it.
Yes, I did.
And if you can look at the numbers on our page, how many people listened to that show, it is abundantly clear that Mrs. Sin mobilized a good portion of the swinging community to check out the show, which was great. And we thank you guys all for that.
Yeah, she got her swing nation behind her.
And I get a text.
Or it could have been also the Waffle Nation.
Or the Waffle
Nation. Yeah, I mean,
if
you haven't listened to it, really, your appreciation for waffles will just grow.
And and just all of the things, why you don't have to wait for the waffles. I mean, there's stuff you can be doing while they're getting ironed, right? Mm-hmm. I told a friend to check out that show because it was really, quite frankly, not like anything I'd ever been a part of before. And I said, yeah, you got to check out the waffle thing. And somehow she missed it, and I had to go back and tell her where to find the waffle. How could you miss the waffle thing?
I have no idea. It makes quite an impression.
Thank you. Okay, so it wasn't really just me, and we do have a special episode coming up that we did do, and we kind of put it in the can. We did it from the gay 90s, which we're going to do that again, Megan. Don't you think?
I would love to. It was a lot of fun.
It was, sure. And I'd like to get, and obviously Colleen, it would be great to have you along for that one.
Yeah. I promise not to be sick or lie about it if I am, because I'm having cocktails.
Yeah. Oh God, it was such a good time, and so we've got special guest Contessa the Sexpert, and she's a really great blogger. She really writes about all manner. Wouldn't you say, Megan? Because you kind of unearthed her, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I found her, and it was... Her blog covers everything, all different aspects of sex and lifestyle questions. Really good information, really helpful stuff.
Yeah, so she's really good, and she's fun, and she's got a pretty interesting psychological background. So she's kind of perfect for that. So being that it's St. Pat's Day, we're sitting here live at the Alive and Social Media Studios, and we got to talk a little bit Irish. What are you guys doing for St. Pat's?
Nothing.
Really?
Well, I figure with a name like Colleen, I'm just set.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mother of a teenager and volleyball and a whole bunch of other things. The 17th doesn't quite have the allure of the cocktail that it used to. Although it is the anniversary of the day that I brought my daughter home for the first time and got off the plane. So that's more of an association for me.
Okay, but it's not her birthday, right?
No, not her birthday. Just the day we came home. Yeah.
Oh,
she was,
cool.
She had a little bib on that said Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just getting all mushy here. Okay, back. Okay, no, I'm done.
This could go for a while.
Yeah.
We better move on.
Hey, I am not showing any pictures to anyone, so you're all lucky that way.
So Megan Vaughn, that sounds a little Irish.
It is very Irish, actually. Very Irish, yes.
Plans?
It's kind of amateur hour. I don't trust going out to bars. Right. I don't trust other people, really. Curmudgeonly Irish, I guess, but I will be partaking in plenty of Jameson at my home.
At your home. Okay, that's, you know what? Closet Irish is as good as anything. We are going to go out at the late end of the evening when I'm figuring all the amateurs have to go home and get in bed for work the next day because the life of a shopkeep. The boyfriend has a liquor store and he has to run the store tonight. So
busy day.
But you know what? It's fun though. I've gone in there on New Year's Eve and everybody's in a good mood, and everybody's, buying booze. It's kind of a no-brainer. So we're going to do that, and we're going to go out after.
And actually, the shopping at Fantasy Gifts tends to be pretty decent today, too, because they have a little Jameson, and then they decide that they want more.
Okay. Is there any spike in green-colored toys?
We do have a little bit. Yeah, we'll sell a few more green toys. We also have some lingerie like fishnets and armband warmers and stuff. So we have a few green accessories as well in case you don't want to be pinched.
Perfect. Oh, right.
Or maybe you do. I don't know.
Our people sure seem to want to. So, yes, just hearkening back to the theme of the gay 90s and our special guest last week, Mrs. Sin. The gay 90s has offered many, many more interesting people that would be great guests. So I believe we're going to get a dominatrix here coming up. I have to get that booked pretty soon.
Gotta tie her down.
I know. Well, actually, what I really want to do is get Sean up here and have him tied to the wall throughout the duration of the show. And just every couple minutes have her go over and just do something to him. Don't you think?
Today would have been the day for that with his last name.
Right. Yeah, and he's got his Irish shirt and all that kind of stuff on. So there's a little bit of Irish on this half of the room, Colleen, and I was looking up just some facts about the Irish and sex, and I thought some of this was pretty damn funny. There's a site, her.ie, so it's like an Irish women's sort of site, which is where I found quite a bit of this, and there are 10 top things that they like about Irish men. And I'm sorry, but number one, they make an epic cup of tea. That would not be my number one. I can think of several other things, that I would prefer. But did you see the one number 9? They're always up for some devilment. It's supposed to be devilment, but that's how they spell it over there. It took me forever to get the meaning of that.
When I was reading through it, I'm like, wait a minute, this is not an American English language site, is it?
No, it wasn't. It's got a lot of Gaelic words on there. I had to do some translating before we got in here, but which I thought fit well with the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast. Interesting sense of humor was number 10, which is great. The one that cracked me up the most was that they always give insanely complicated directions to tourists. How great is that?
See, that may actually change my mind about going and visiting Ireland, because I've always been a little shy about, like, I've been to travel a lot, but with a name like Colleen, I just don't want to have to go around the entire Ireland and like introduce myself and then have to explain that although I have an Irish name, I'm not Irish.
Not even remotely.
Not even remotely. No. My mom just really liked the name.
It's a nice name. Yeah. But it is. And I'm a Kelly. Mm-hmm. But that's okay. I also have McClanahan in my background. Mm-hmm. So an insane level of respect for their mammy. How cute is that? I like that. Would you guys vote that that's a good trait for a guy?
Yeah. Well, I would say there is a fine line.
Oh, sure. But, sure. No, point taken. Point taken. They possess the ability to light a decent fire.
Oh, yeah. No. You want to be able to build a fire. You just like a roaring fire or a campfire, anything. Fire, good.
Chivalrous in little pyro over there. They're chivalrous in their own way. They said they may not open the door for you or offer the coat when you're freezing, but he will buy you a bag of chips on the way after you've been drinking home.
It is very thoughtful.
That's sweet, isn't it? Capable of great emotion. Yeah, okay, whatever. Awful dancers.
We'd fit right in together.
Okay.
That's great.
Well, wait a minute, but wasn't all that river dance stuff Irish?
I think it was Australians making it Irish.
It was Irish originally.
But then it was kind of commandeered by those Australians. They're the most easygoing men in the world. Do you agree?
I guess I don't know too many.
You don't know
actual Irishmen.
Well, let's go ask Sean.
Okay, yeah. So those are an interesting sense of humor. So those are all really good ones.
See, I would put the interesting sense of humor at number 1.
That's always my number 1.
I would too.
The T could go. We could just swap those two, and I'd be perfectly fine.
Yeah. So the Durex and the condom people did a global sex survey, and so we've got some highlights of the Irish. They took 317,000 people from 41 countries, and they isolated the Irish responses. And I thought some of these findings were pretty interesting. Average age when Irish people first have sex, 17.3 years, which is right about the par of the global average. Iceland is the randiest at the youngest age at 15.6, and India, 19.8. That's probably because they're getting married, in the arranged marriages that are there. What do you think about that average? Do you guys think that that's...
So that's a global average, 17?
Yeah, but Irish was 17.3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can. Yeah, that's about a high school horny time. Do they have proms in Ireland? Is that where that comes from?
Unclear. But check out this: the average number of sexual partners in Ireland, 11.1. I do not want to know what the 0.1 was.
I don't know why.
Was that like a hand job? I don't know.
Right?
Why they bother with the 0.1? Just
Well, and Turkey was the highest at 14.5. I would not have put Turkey at the top, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, it's actually a
surprised.
fairly okay. They're not as religious as they have a very large non-religious section.
That's
of
true.
the world.
That's true. India, the lowest numbers with 3 sex partners. Global average 9.
Now, is everyone out there calculating in their heads?
Right, because I'm sitting here going, oh,
I ran out of fingers.
oh, okie dokie. Yeah, so that's a global average. So let's just move on past this one so as not to incriminate the guilty here. Irish people have sex on average 97 times a year. That's close. The global average 103. So that's about, every 4 days or so-ish. The Greeks, 138 times. And the Japanese are the least sexed at 45 times a year. I feel so bad for the Japanese.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think somewhere in between, in the middle would be good. Oh, maybe that sounds bad.
The middle of what?
My favorite part is all the study is just like, how do you know if someone's telling the truth?
Well, and I think based on the results of the number of partners, I think the 3 of us were quietly thinking, they didn't take a big enough sample. They didn't talk to anybody I know. You know what I mean?
None of my friends made this survey.
I'm thinking 58% of the Irish people have had unprotected sex compared to the global average of 47%. How do you feel about that one?
Oh, not good.
Well, it could just be that they're in more committed relationships. It doesn't say where they're having the sex.
That's true.
True. Just hope they don't rely on the luck of the Irish, though, when it comes to that.
Yeah, that would be a bad time to use a stereotype.
Well, when you think about this global average number, though, I do think that this is kind of interesting with results of the AIDS awareness that began and how many years it took that campaign to gain traction, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And we know that there's a need for way more of it in certain particular parts of the world. But 53% on a global average have protected sex. That's good news, wouldn't you say, based on that?
No, definitely, because I would assume that has just will rise too. I mean, as people know what's going on. If you would have taken this survey probably in the mid-1970s, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been that high.
Oh, absolutely not. Only the people that were making, took the time and made the effort to not get pregnant because they weren't thinking about the rest of that stuff. 12% of the Irish have had an extramarital affair. 62% have had a one-night stand. That doesn't surprise me. 20%, 1 in 5, have had a gay experience.
Well, way to go.
Happy Irish. Happy Irish.
Well, it's interesting. I actually had just heard that Ireland was one of the first places to have gay marriage back when, the church was first starting out. They were actually having gay marriages.
No kidding. Oh, that's cool. Well, and then, you go back before you can go forward, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And finally, the last couple stats, which I thought was pretty dang funny, sad actually. So they really could use fantasy gifts, fantasygifts.com, by the way. So while 66% of the Irish get together and have sex at least once a week with their partners, only 54% of that number actually reach orgasm. So we've got a 12% gap of doing and coming. What do you think of that?
Mind the gap.
In more ways than one.
I mean, as much as everybody wants to get to the big O, it doesn't mean that every single time that it's not a satisfying experience without it.
True.
Yeah, just going through there. So it depends, once again, how you phrase that question. But they're probably implying, that is the end all to be all of the sexual experience.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's generally the goal. I mean, don't you think?
That's the finish line I'm running for, I guess.
Speaking of that, have you guys gone to the online pictures of the Antique Vibrator Museum?
Oh, yeah. I've perused that several times. I look at these things, and I have to admit that I'm looking at the toy, and then because these things are 90 to 100 years old or something like that, I keep looking at the electrical cords and go, oh, that just looks scary. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
They're terrifying, some of them.
I am amazed at how many of them looked like kitchen gadgets. I mean, but I mean real world kitchen gadgets like meat grinders and, other things that it's like, wow, I don't have a pleasant association with wanting that anywhere near anything.
Yeah, the past 100 years have done wonders in the design.
They've come a long way, baby.
It was just, I mean, unbelievable. It either looked like kitchen or construction implements.
Yeah, a lot of
like belt sanders.
A few torture devices.
Yeah, these big handheld things on the cords and the metal and the like. Ooh, no.
And a couple of them, the only thing that even came remotely to having 1 foot in modern day was the Hitachi Magic Wand, which really looks like it's moving toward what's out there in the market today. And a lot of things but the rest of them were like under the guise of weight loss, like the Reduce Away and the Spot Reducer. Come on, come on.
Well, you might sweat a bit, but I don't think it's going to work that much.
The rolling pin. There's a rolling pin. Maybe the dominatrix can tell us about that one. I don't know. But you've got to go on Google the Antique Vibrator Museum if you haven't. And guys, this was interesting too. In the news this last week, there was a column on HuffPost in their sex area, and written by a gay male blogger who is wheelchair bound, talking about. He loves the parties. He loves getting to go out, but there's not a lot of handicap accessibility in the places where a lot of these parties go. So that's another thing for Mrs. Sin. Do you guys have wheelchair ramps besides just swing hooks?
Right.
Where you go. But it was a pretty interesting column where you never even think about that particular site. So I guess this guy's getting a lot of traction on HuffPost, and then other people. It didn't matter. It was either GLBT or heterosexual talking about the challenges that the disabled face.
Yeah, I mean, whether you're getting to and from a store or being safe in your positions. I mean, I can imagine that the article just went into every aspect of someone's social life. And it's not even wheelchair bound. I mean, you've got a bad back or a limb replacement.
Yeah.
There's although that does lead to the fact that the best sexual organ, the brain, you get a little more creative.
Right. Well, he calls himself deliciously disabled. His name, if you want to look him up, is Andrew Morrison Gr8. And he really took as lighthearted as you can of attack with this. He was definitely not playing the victim mode, but it's interesting to read something like that where he wants to go out there and get his libido out there and interact with other people and pick up on that energy of a group, not in a group sex, but just in a club even, and how hard it could be. And I was like, I thought it was a really good piece. You should check it.
Almost every place I've ever gone to, it's like multi-levels all over the place. I mean, you might have the handicapped bathroom, but how do you get there?
That's a good question. And especially if you want to go have some fun. So, as much as I love Florence Henderson, and especially with the nod that she got in the recent Snickers commercial at the Super Bowl with oh my God, I'm just blanking on him right now. The actor, just the hysterical, you're not yourself when you're hungry. Okay, you saw the old clip of the Brady Bunch, and it was brilliantly put together. She goes on the Today Show and admits she has a fuck buddy, and she's 81. Do you love that?
I love it. I say go Florence.
When I read this little blurb, it just made me happy.
Me too. And have you guys seen the pictures of her? She has aged brilliantly. I mean, granted, I'm sure she got some professional makeup to be on TV or whatever. I don't care. If I can look even close to that good when I'm 81, hoorah. I mean, she was like, she just looks awesome.
Yeah, and she's in Florida. It's warm.
Yeah.
Good for the joints.
Good for the joints. The humidity's good for the skin.
Well, I guess this fuck buddy is a chiropractor, so that's also very handy.
Helpful.
Yeah.
And I will say I was married to a chiropractor for 12 years, and they are very helpful and handy to have around. There are certain aspects that I do miss of that whole thing. Moving over to Wigan, England. Guy is now a sex offender because he's been found guilty of having sex with a mailbox in public.
Okay, those are the sexiest. I mean, are they sexier in England? Because I have a friend who's newlywed. Her bride is from England, and now I'm going to have to call her later on and ask her if their mailboxes are sexy.
Well, the ones that I saw that are the alleged victimized mailboxes were the ones that are in the wall. And they've got these little sort of overhangy, nubby things, and then you slide the letter up, so that the letter...
Oh, it's a slot.
It's right. A mail slot. I've heard them call that before. And apparently he did plead guilty. He's a 45-year-old man, 2 counts of indecent exposure and using threatening and abusive words with abusive behavior. The crowd, told police that they were traumatized by this. But what I thought was funny is they all stood there and watched anyway.
It's that train wreck syndrome. They just couldn't look away.
Well, I did recently see an article where there is a gentleman who likes to stand naked in his front door. But the thing is, he's in his house, and you can be nude in your house, and he's not, I mean, just being nude is not against the law.
Okay.
So the neighbors are going nuts, but there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
You know,
where is that? Do you know what city?
Oh, it's down south, Carolina, something like that. I'll have to Google again. And I just would, the joys of insomnia once again, as you're flipping through sites.
I actually found that too. I posted it on the Gr8 Nrthrn page. So
That's awesome.
That's what I was like, where did I
Great minds.
Does he just stand there and grin?
Yeah, I looked in the picture. He was standing there, like, smoking a cigarette. He's like, I'm just hanging out in my doorway naked,
So
and
he's
you
an
can't do
exhibitionist.
nothing. Yeah, I'm sure
basically
he's
just an exhibitionist.
enjoying that they're
That's
watching.
And I just think that would be, obviously south, a little more difficult to do in the north.
Oh, for sure. Well, yeah.
Between the freezing cold and then the mosquitoes.
Well, and let's just take this one step further, Colleen. If it's like a glass, front door, so that you can see through or whatever. Think about what happens if you put your tongue on a flagpole. Okay, I'm just saying, don't get too damn close to that glass if you're standing in your front door trying to flash the world. One other thing, though, on the mailbox note, I want to mention that all of these people, part of the reasons he was charged and now he is a sex offender is because other people were saying that they were traumatized by this. Here's my issue with this. If you have the ability to get away, you know what I mean? He wasn't doing it on or to. That part does bug me. I mean, the guy's odd. Clearly he is, and that's really probably inappropriate. But if you see something like that going on, you shuffle off and you call somebody. You don't stand there and say, I am now a victim when you chose to be part of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. I actually, when I saw this, I was like, sex offender seems a little
That's a little over the top.
extreme.
Yeah.
I mean, it happens. You're drunk. You're walking down the street. You see a male slut.
And it winks at
you. Giving you the eye,
Well, I'm just thinking, a lot of these things are like cast bronze. Can you imagine what someone could, design a mailbox to look like at this point? I mean,
Like this. You can't see me, but I just made something akin to a fish. Let's just put it that way. Look. Okay, but staying in England, I do love the Brits. The Knit Your Own Kama Sutra book. I saw this and absolutely fell apart laughing. This is just absolutely classic. There's this really cool, very well-known British knitting expert named Geraldine Warner, and she decided that she wanted to go ahead and do this book, and you knit little figures in the positions, different famous Kama Sutra positions. Did you guys have a chance to look at the pictures?
It was one of the most adorable things I've ever seen because if you knit something, it's cute. Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like little, if it's tiny, it's cute. But if you knit it, it's also cute. So this is knit and tiny, and they're having sex.
Oh, God.
Everything is adorable.
She even got herself a naughty stage name to pen the book, and Trixie Von Pearl. I love that. That is so funny. So, yeah, she's written a lot of really classic, I guess, again, she's well known. And knitting's a big deal over there. I mean, it's a really big deal.
I have quite a number of friends who knit. So I'm thinking this, once they listen to this, that there might be a boost on Amazon to get this book.
Well, it should be. But, it's funny, like years ago, BT has a show here. He's got his Foodie Friday show. His wife has always been quite the knitter. I mean, like, I guess really sophisticated, beautiful things that don't look homemade at all. And I don't know if she ever did it, but her dream was to own a high-end yarn and knitting instruction, kind of studio thing. And for a while, that was really in vogue. I don't know do either of you knit at all?
I do not.
I attempted, but it involves something that I do not have, and that's called patience. I have my brain wants to do things, and then no. This is why I cook and I don't bake.
Okay. Okay.
The other day I did bake and I forgot something like doubling the flour, and I made little butter sugar goo things, and I'm like, well, that was just a cookie fail. So yeah, I can't even imagine what my knitting would look like, or needlepoint, or anything that involves patience.
Okay, got it. Got it. Well, speaking of patience, there's the next two stories we have in our Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast news roundup for the week are two guys that really got inventive, each for different reasons, though. One is more humanitarian. The other one is I'm not really entirely sure. But those wacky Japanese, this guy, Koichi Ichimura, has attempted to solve a problem of, being lonely and the right pillow. He's invented the girlfriend pillow, and it's a blonde female anime character. And I'm sorry, I know it's really popular, but anime creeps me out. I don't like it.
I'm not a fan.
I don't care for it at all. So it's got sensors placed in pouches in the breast and the crotch part of the anime thing, which, who wants to do a cartoon? But then again, there's furries out there. So what were we saying? So if you massage the pillow's breasts, it'll coo in delight, saying things like, what if I start loving you even more than I already do? Or, hey, that hurts, or not there.
I love that. If you get too handy or grabby, like I saw in the article, if you like crush the breast or press too hard, she yells at you. And I'm like, well, I guess that's good. Kind of a little training involved, just in case he could replace that pillow with a real girl someday.
Yeah.
Woman, I should say.
Yeah, that is just unbelievable. He's trying to raise some more money to expand the line, but the sucker sells for $167. I'm thinking not so much. In another part of the world, China, here's a guy who's got a wife with urinary issues. Okay, and she was been counseled by her doctor, and I guess it's really been an issue, and he feels bad for her. So this guy named Tom Chen wants to help improve women's vaginal muscles through video games.
That's their solution for everything.
Okay, so let's just let that sink in for just a minute. But it's actually ever so slightly genius. What it is it's a game controller that's a vibrator, essentially. And so she plays the game using her Kegel muscles. And it's called a skia. What do you think?
Yeah, I looked this up, and we do urinary issues are really big. Most women will not talk about it. This is why the poise and depends industries are so insanely huge, and you really do not have to deal with this. So most of the time they will start with Kegels, and I'm just thinking Kegels are sort of boring, and if you can play a game while you're doing it
and shoot asteroids or something, I don't know.
It did sort of crack me up, and then went and looked at the pictures, and it looks an awful lot like an item that we already carry, the WeVibe.
Yeah, and it's pink. The picture that I saw is it did look just like stuff that I've seen there at Fantasy Gifts. But okay, this is kind of funny. The prototype game for the Skia is called Alice Incontinent, where players help Alice dodge obstacles by clenching their vaginas, and then the contractions actually send signals to the control that go to the game.
I just wonder if his wife was a video game player, or if this was another way to I can get her to play video games with me now.
I think this is kind of genius. And he did get started on Kickstarter. $52,000 he managed to raise on Kickstarter in order to get the prototype. So this could be coming to more mainstream. Actually.
I did in fact send the article over to Tara. In fact, Tara and Sarah right now are on their way down, on their way over to a buying trip.
Okay.
And I said, hey, anyone have this yet?
Because taken off though.
Talking to, my doctor, it is a huge problem.
Yeah.
And, more women are gaming, so why not? I think it would be, I have no doubt that it would sell if it was actually out on the market. No doubt at all.
Go ahead.
I want them to come out with the Duck Hunt version where it's actually just a gun. You know, a first person shooter, just pew pew, right?
Well, I'm laughing about this. I'm saying this, in a glib sort of way, but the stats in the article, according to this inventor Chen, he says more than half of women at some point or another are going to be affected by these sorts of issues at some point or another in their life. Well, I spend every day when I get up, I play Plants vs. Zombies for a little while on the old iPad. And if you've never seen Plants vs. Zombies, yes, I'm probably a little old for this, but I don't care. It's one of the funniest damn things I've ever played in my life. I'm trying to think if I could kill zombies and get off at the same time, I would consider that. I would consider
definitely.
it. I'm just saying. Okay. Other things, guys, I found this and it was just kind of something I couldn't walk away from. The 17 creepiest sexual subcultures worldwide. And I wanted to get the opinion of whether or not you guys agreed that these were creepy, and what, if anything, a normal person could substitute with safe and non-poisonous biting animals for some of the things that we're going to talk about here. So, are you ready?
Ready? Let's dive in.
So
I'm like, where does she go? Okay.
you don't want to know. You really, really do not want to go where I find the material that we talk about here. So, yeah, number 17 is people. It's called ball busting. Okay.
Oh, yep.
Have you heard of this? Mm-hmm. There are actually people that get aroused by watching people get kicked in the balls, and there's an actual website in the UK for ball busting aficionados.
Yeah, I've heard of this, and we see a lot. I mean, my Google search at the office, it's really quite bizarre sometimes. But the physical pain, the hurting someone else has always been a difficult thing for me to figure out. I mean, when I was looking through the website, for things to put on the website, playing with your testicles, good. Smooshing your testicles, I have to admit, I sort of made this is my company. I don't want to have the smooshy ball stuff on it.
But you're
really?
not causing pain, though. You're actually causing pleasure. It's the person who's getting kicked or squashed or stepped on. That's what they want. They're getting off on that. So, I know some people who are like, the gal was like, well, okay, if you want me to, if this is what you like. And then she was like, oh, that was kind of fun. Like, that was a little empowering,
Yeah, it was a brain switch for me. So, I'm looking at the stuff. So, okay, I said, so I'll put some of it on and we'll see how it sells. And then, but I had to step away and talk.
Yeah.
To the folks in the office.
It's interesting too, because, you guys do have certain materials at Fantasy Gifts that go into the BDSM realm. And so where do you draw the line there?
Like I said, I go mid-range, and then I see what the customers are asking for. Because some of the stuff I just go, if I don't think that it looks designed safely, I'll ask other folks in the office to see what's going through there. And there's just been some things we're looking at going, I just don't like the way that's designed. Not that we don't like the idea of the item, but the design of the item is going through there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, number 16, I think, should be absolutely number one, hands down. Oh my God, I just about fell off the chair when I came across formicophilia. This is the sexual interest in being crawled upon and nibbled by insects like ants, maggots, and cockroaches. And the photograph that came along with this has a scorpion on, and I'm not talking a little one either, with pinchers and everything else on a woman's breast. Thoughts?
Live action nipple clamps?
There you go. Yeah. There you go. That's better.
I'm just weirded out. That's one. I never like to judge, but that just weirds me out.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with an ant infestation in my own home right now.
Okay.
Just heebie-jeebies thinking about it all.
I can't even look at a spider.
We actually had a toy. We had gotten some monster bullets around Halloween. They were super cute. And we had a bullet that had a sleeve. It was like a rubber scorpion that went over the bullet. And it looked so real. Like, I couldn't use the toy. Like, I had to take the sleeve off every time I opened the case where I had it in. Like, it scared me every time I saw it. And I'm like, even the idea of this is just too for me.
No, I just think that you think about just how different brains work. I just when I'm searching through things and I'm doing stuff, I'm just going. I figure, okay, I have to be less judgmental. I don't want people to judge me, for the most part. So but I have to admit, bugs are a little creepy.
Okay, yeah, I can't get around that. This next one completely speaks to my claustrophobia. All of my other phobias are going to be coming out as we talk about this. Mummification is an actual sexual subculture as well. And there's a picture here, and they use
wrap people up
in things like cling wrap, duct tape, body bags, straight jackets, and other objects. And
there's shrink wrap latex beds with breathing hoses and stuff like that. So that. I haven't seen the mummy part, but I've seen a lot of bags, whether they're Lycra bags or latex bags or vacuum beds, full of hoods, mitts. I've seen a lot of stuff like that.
We actually carry a lot of movies that have that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw actually on an episode of, have you guys ever seen Gigolos? It's a Showtime After Dark series about these actual gigolos in Las Vegas?
No.
I got rid of cable a while ago. I was getting really annoyed at the price.
Oh, yeah, no, understood. But I have to tell you, the show is another one of those train wrecks, and it's like a 30-minute show. But it's I was astounded. They show them having sex with these people, and the dates, if you will let themselves be seen in absolutely every single part. And they'll say, hi, when they meet on the date, where are you from? And they'll say their city. And what do you do? I'm a school teacher. And there's her face. There's, the whole night. I couldn't get over it. I was absolutely shocked. But anyway, and then they show them having sex. And one of them, one woman had a fetish and did put one of these guys in these bags, and it sucked it completely, and he had a breathing hose, and I had to turn it off. I couldn't watch what happened next because I'm just like, it just freaked me out. That's a funny show.
That would be really, really, really safe sex, though, if you're completely encased in something. Yeah, my brain.
This next one comes to us from the Japanese again, who supposedly only have sex 45 times a year. But one thing they apparently do enjoy in the form of fetish is omurashi. And they find it sexually arousing to have a full bladder or see someone, especially a well-dressed or dignified person, who is suffering from bladder desperation and wetting themselves in public. Anyone?
Well, that could be why they're only having sex 45 times a year.
Well, then they have their pillows instead, I guess.
Yeah, there's that.
I can't imagine. I mean, seeing someone do the pee dance is but then
It's
again,
got to be a cultural thing, I would imagine, if because to see someone who is so dignified or in a higher class.
Lose control.
Yeah.
So I guess it's another one of those sort of dominant sort of things. Or, wow. The next one I can't look at hardly. Belly button torture.
Oh.
Did you see the picture?
No, this, I don't think that came through.
Oh, yeah. Poking pins, needles, and all sorts of god-awful things. And these belly buttons look like they've been through a lot. I'm just saying. Any thoughts on that one?
Well, I guess you would need an Audi for that.
I think they've turned some of these innies into Audis through some of the things that they've done to them. I know they do not. That does not look happy. But how is that really different from some of the other sorts of things, like I don't know, maybe sounding or something?
Yeah, it's not or suspension or people who
foot fetish or
do piercings on. I knew someone who was a piercer. Like one of the reasons he quit, he would have someone come in constantly getting penis piercings. And then they would take it out. And then they would come in to get another one because they just really enjoyed being pierced. So I imagine it's a pretty similar thing. And your belly button, it's kind of weird. It's kind of attached to, I don't know, for a lot of gals, I don't know, if you're sitting at home, try it. Stick your finger in there, wiggle around. You can feel it weird places. So
that's one of the things like, okay.
It's like you got to pee. Okay, maybe they like that. So this might work in Japan.
Yeah.
Okay, we should tell them about it. Okay. The next one, upsetting. This one is
like the other ones weren't.
Oh no.
Sorry. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to judge, but this does, fit outside most Venn diagrams.
Pretty much. Next up, number 12. Kilsmophilia. This is a sexual attraction to liquids entering and exiting the butt.
Isn't that what?
This is like an enema fetish, basically.
Okay.
Anything? Anyone?
It reminds me of what's the Devil and Miss Jones? There's the original like super pop famous porn. There was a scene where she has like the water faucet spray, like the sprayer, and she has it inserted up, and the entire time, and I'm watching a porn, and the entire time I'm like, oh, that doesn't look safe. Like, what are you?
Where's
doing?
it going?
Right.
Where's it going? Yeah, your eyeballs float out of your head.
Exactly.
There's not a lot of places for that stuff to go.
I think to some extent people are just so removed from their bodies that then they end up at other parts, fetishizing on something that who knows what part of their brain says, hey, this is sexy.
Right.
Yeah. It's a different sort of wiring.
Yeah. It would be, you would need a lot of, you'd probably do a lot of laundry.
Oh, Well, unless you had the rubber sheets.
Oh, and you'd eat those Olestra, the potato chips.
Oh my God, Olestra. Who has thought of Olestra in the last zillion years?
Do they still make that?
Or wait, what's the weight
can't
loss
imagine.
thing? The weight loss one that does that to you too. It's famous. They have it at Costco. You walk by it all the time. It's supposed to give you a runny butt too. So maybe that's what they want. It's gonna drive me crazy. I can like almost even see the box and the logo, and I can't pull the name out of the air. Next one is a little bit more innocuous in my view. Trypsolagnia. That's arousal caused by someone else shampooing your hair.
Interesting.
I mean, I like it when my hairstylist does my hair. It feels good.
Right,
Okay,
right.
but
I can see that.
Am I a trypsolagnist?
I was...
Well, is there a puddle on the seat when you're done?
No.
No. See, then,
Probably
yeah,
not.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's also people with like interesting hair fetishes. I was at, I used to work at our now gone store on University Avenue, and across the street there was a Sally Beauty Supply. And I guess guys would come in all the time trying to like braid the girls' hair.
You're kidding.
That was like their big thing. They really wanted to braid their beautiful hair.
Okay. Not judging.
Yeah,
something for everyone.
It's almost every business will have someone that's going to come and ask something weird.
Oh, yeah.
So now I found out about that.
You ever heard of symphorophilia? Ring a bell?
Get turned on by symphonies?
No, I actually wish it was that. Far, far more pleasant. This, in fact, is used to describe arousal caused by seeing and or causing a car accident or another major disaster.
Oh, like crash. Yes.
Yes.
Which I feel like if people were disappointed by 50 Shades of Grey, just go back and watch some old James Spader movies.
Oh, my God.
The Secretary. Maybe Crash if you're feeling pretty freaky.
This one kind of cracks me up, and this almost nudges up against some of the things that are available at Fantasy Gifts. I guess out in LA right now, pheromone parties are huge. They're billing them as an online dating alternative, actually, for where people and participants wear the same clothes for 3 days straight, then put them into numbered plastic bags unwashed for other people to sniff. Then they choose their partners anonymously based on their scent. You guys have pheromone sprays at the store. And they don't want you to wear perfume or anything else because nobody will choose your bag because you smell too pleasant.
No, I body smell is huge. I mean, we spend an awful lot of time trying to make it go away, but that attraction goes down to our deepest DNA. So, I mean, that probably, out of everything here, that probably makes the most sense. That probably makes more sense than half the dating apps out there. Because your lizard brain is going to smell somebody else's lizard brain. You know what I mean? And there's probably more science behind that than a lot of other things.
I think that's why armpit licking has become such a big thing.
Oh,
Apparently we, something like place like the gay 90s and in particular in the GLBTQ community. That's the new fad is the armpit licking.
With or without hair?
Well, I guess it depends on if it's a twink or a bear.
Right on.
But,
okay. I don't actually know what you just said there. I'm nodding and acting like I do, but I don't.
No, yeah, I can, yeah. I mean, like I said, out of everything there, that one, I don't find that weird. Yeah, I have to admit, I just don't. That seems non-weird.
Mm-hmm. What, armpit licking?
No, the whole
the
smell your
one?
smell your clothes.
Well, you know what this? I know this is going to sound like a slight departure, but have you guys either seen the show or any of the ads for the show called Married at First Sight?
No, I haven't.
I've seen
promos for it?
I've seen the promos.
Or
like online and stuff like that.
I was up early one morning before I had to go to work, and they were airing it. I didn't realize it was an entire series, like where they meet them, match them, marry them, and then follow them. I thought it was just one show and how they came up with it and whatever. So I had to leave for work, and I hit record, and then not realizing that there was like 9 other episodes. So now I just know who was getting married, but I don't know anything else or how it was decided. But They had a sociologist, a clinical psychologist, a spiritual advisor, and a sociologist analyze these things. And the way that they chose these matches was pretty fascinating and quite frankly made a lot of sense to me. The only thing was you can't get your head around, seriously, would you actually, and it's a real marriage. I mean, they have to get a divorce if they decide after 4 weeks, whatever. But the experts went through all of these different things that they know are proven to be aspects of successful matches long term. And, this type of thing would be one of them. It's like, but that's more animal, and so is the attraction thing. And one of them, just before the end of the show, she was not attracted to the guy at all and basically let him know it right then and there. And they're asking her if she's going to say I do. And she's looking at him going, I'm sorry. And she hasn't decided yet. I later found out she did just to give it a try. But she took one look at him and was like, yeah, no. Can you even imagine?
Yeah,
I guess I can. I've had it happen before.
Oh, God, at the altar?
Yeah.
Wow, Meg, who knew?
Yeah. Well, see, that could be the other show, Rejected at First Sight, because it would be like almost everyone could be on that show.
I know, right? But it's interesting. I did catch some sort of a snippet from a later show, and she said, yeah, I wasn't thrilled about this at first, but now I really like him. They were right, but we still don't know if it works out. But I just thought that was interesting. It was kind of like the animal thing. It's like there's certain things that maybe others can identify about you, and because we've got so many cultural and self-imposed issues, we can't see the forest for the trees. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
right. Like this guy, my lizard brain is going crazy, and I love his pheromones, but he's not, tall, dark, and handsome.
Yeah,
short, round, and blonde, and suddenly, you have to get past what you think your ideal might be.
Yeah,
because your brain might know better than your eyes.
I mean, it's not as though almost every culture has some sort of matchmaker. I mean,
yeah. Well, and the statistics on arranged marriages are not as bad as people would assume because everybody's just so put off by the idea of not having a choice in that matter. But they actually do pretty well. Number 8 on the list of 17 most bizarre sexual subcultures around the world. Lilapsophilia. Sorry, these are just a bugger to pronounce. Lilapsophilia. This is turned on by tornadoes. So I'm guessing that Oklahomans must suffer from this or have this in spades.
Kansas. Yep. They watch Twister. That's their porn.
Number 7 surprised me. It's something that we've talked about here on the show more than once. Pony play. Right. I was surprised it was that high up on the list because I think that's more common than a lot of what we've been talking about here.
Yeah, definitely. How is it? Is it like most common to least, or just kind of random?
Yeah. No, we're counting down from the number 17 to number 1 is what the author of this thinks is the most bizarre. So I thought,
I don't think that I would much rather be a pony than have
bugs on
spiders and maggots.
Well, it could just be that this particular author is still wigged out by anal sex.
That could be.
Yeah, I mean, that's even though judging by the amount of anal toys we sell, most people are not.
Clearly. So a metaphilia. Ever met an emetophile? They're turned on by puke.
Oh, I was wondering if we were getting to that one.
Oh yeah, number 6. Yep.
Oh my God, they would love my cat.
Oh.
I have a pukey cat.
Yeah. Oh my God! So if somebody shows up at the shelter, all of our animal humane workers and friends, that says, "I want a cat that pukes."
Yeah.
You might want to think twice because that cat might be experiencing other unfortunate incidents.
The problem is that definitely seems like it could be an unsafe one to act out on.
Bulimia, stuff like that.
Yeah, and the damage it does to your esophagus, and the fact that it's not sanitary. A lot of people use the vomit as it's getting weird, guys. As a lubricant, and it's not safe or healthy.
Leave it to you to fill in the details that I didn't have here in my work. Thank you, Megan, for that.
That's what I'm here for.
Thank you. Okay.
I'm so glad I had a very late breakfast.
Me too.
Oh my God.
Okay, this next one might be up there with the maggots and the cockroaches and all of that. Coulrophilia. Any idea what that is?
You like ice?
No, nice try. But it's COUL.
Okay.
This
Vanilla
is sexual attraction to clowns, mimes, and jesters. Oh, nothing scarier than a clown. Nothing. And I definitely do not want to screw a clown. No.
Well, I
Honk,
know.
honk,
I
honk,
know.
honk. No, absolutely
Oh,
not.
I'm just imagining they're like giant squirting flower.
Oh, God. She went there.
Oh, it'd be like a clown car. And like 20 hot guys just keep piling out.
You do have a way of looking for the bright side, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, I just keeping. I have a lot of friends that are performers, so whether or not they're wearing makeup or not, I would consider them, a lot of them clowns or performers and stuff like that, and they get plenty.
Well, I
So you
think
guys
we
are
need.
fine with this one.
I guess I'm okay. I think we need to start carrying like big red vibrating noses. Help them out.
Okay. Wow.
I bet. There's a very good. The only thing is, that I would assume that you'd have to add that with the rubber sheets, because if you're in the whole white grease paint,
Right. I'm getting a little messy.
Look at you two of ways to enhance the experience. Okay. This one I think you won't have too much to say on. Number 4, autoassassinophilia. This is turned on by risk or potential death. And so people that are into auto asphyxiation and things like that have this. That one's scary.
yeah, I'm surprised that one is the first one, because I can't imagine what the hell would be weirder than that.
I'm hoping it's bug chasing.
I could possibly get turned on by killing bugs.
Oh, it's a term for something. I'm
Was
just
it good
waiting
for
to
you?
see
Was
if
it
it's
good
on
for
the
you?
list.
Okay. The next one is like, so, oh man, climacophilia.
Turned on by climate change? Okay, I don't know.
Global warming,
Oh,
baby.
Al Gore. This is a convenient truth.
Oh God. Oh God. Okay. No, climacophilia is getting turned on by falling downstairs. Really?
Wouldn't you mix that with the clowns, with pratfalls and everything?
Climacoclownophilia? I don't know. I have a compound
It's
fracture.
like Buster Keaton is the hottest guy ever.
Or Mythbusters, when they had Buster, they would throw him down a lot of things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh God. Who was the famous mime?
Marcel Marceau?
Marcel Marceau. Who would have thought? Okay, number 2 absolutely slays me. This is funny. I don't even know if I can say it. Fornophilia? Ever heard of that one?
Okay.
This is hysterical.
Okay.
This is a bondage fetish where one person uses another person as a piece of furniture. And
Well, once again, this is up there. I mean, I would put this way at the other end of the list.
me too.
I mean, there were many, many things. Okay.
There's a little more here. It says the participant is usually tightly bound and expected to remain immobile for extended periods, acting as a table, chair, clothing rack, or objet d'art.
Actually, that sounds...
Look at the picture.
No, I went on I was on a vacation years ago, ran out of all stuff to read, so I'm flipping through. It was a Club Med in Martinique, and I'm flipping through, and that's where I found... I think was it Anne Rice that did the beauty series?
Mm-hmm. Yep, Anne Rice.
Yeah, and there was it was like the third book or something, and they actually in this thing they had all these people just like being used as signs and statues and a whole bunch of stuff. So obviously Anne's known about this for a long time.
You know who knew? I mean,
and I would certainly no, that has to be way. That's like 16.
That's way far more. I mean, the picture that we're looking at shows a woman in a backbend, basically, and a man is like sort of touching her stomach. That could be kind of erotic. I could see that, and she can't move, but then he's hitting, and it doesn't look in any way violent. Number 1, I don't know how I feel about this one. I find a lot on this list far weirder, although this is pretty weird, and guys everywhere are going to be just go ahead and grab your package and hold it tight as I'm about to tell you. In the Philippines, apparently Filipino men have plastic balls inserted into their penises under the skin with small incisions, and so that their penises look like a pea pod, but they have their own little nubby things inside them, and
built-in French tickler.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's like Demi Moore's boyfriend. She was dating that pearl diver, and that was a thing in their culture. They would actually put pearls. They would insert those under the skin of the penis,
and then they
and they keep them there. It heals over, and it's just gives extra texture.
I think I would. Okay, it's weird, but
Yeah,
I
it's
still
weird.
think that, depending on what you're doing, the plastic, body modification, it's not that different. I would put the bugs and other things that,
The bugs are going to be my number one gross one. What about you, Meg?
Yeah, I
bugs and the
thought
puke
things
and
were
a few
missing from the list. Even I was kind of surprised.
Oh, would you like to put in some late ads?
Well, I think that when you're saying the bug chasing, that people like to go after diseases. That might be under the one where people are chasing. Maybe it's a subcategory.
Maybe, yeah, because we got the most amazing catalog in,
Really?
and we learned about the bug chasers who they like. Having sex with people who have visible signs of STDs.
Oh.
And so they sold toys that had, visible outbreaks. That was the same catalog that had the fake blood and vomit lubricants.
Oh.
We did not order anything from that catalog. We did pass that one on by, but actually I was really tempted because I do makeup as well, and I was like, oh man, I need to buy some of that blood lube, like just to say I have it.
Oh.
Hey, you brought up the list.
I did. I come in here every week, you guys, really kind of saying, all right, because the thing is, there's all sorts of interesting, but to get your takes on this, and I'm every week.
No, a couple months from now, you're gonna be, you might be able to find something if you keep digging
that you haven't found. I don't think so. I'm not really sure. Here's what I want to do. We've, this was an interesting thing to kind of run through, and I mean, I learned a ton by doing this. There's another. We'll move this into next week, and what I'd like to try to do, or the week after, even the comparison of tantric sex to business, and this is pretty interesting. And what I think I like to do is get an entrepreneur besides you, Colleen, here in the room with us to go through. And so I'm going to do a little work on that, and we'll see when we're going to schedule the dominatrix. And I think almost, honestly, that the swinging crowd is going to have to come in like quarterly. I really do. I mean,
yeah, I'd be curious to see whether or not that if they had more people contact them.
Yeah.
So it's going, through their, how it was received within their, community and stuff like that.
Oh, yep.
I know that our Facebook page, doubled likes,
Yep.
just in a couple of days. I know that we had a lot of people listening to it. But we were, so I kept looking, oh my God, we got more, because I get notified,
right.
When we get a like and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But I think that's changed. We were going to be running, I'm going to switch a little bit here. We got the new rabbits in, and we're going to be running a contest to win one.
Oh, cool.
And it was going to be like and share the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast Facebook page. But as of March 12th, Facebook has once again dicked around with their all their stuff. And we can no longer, I can see that we have a like, and I can see that somebody shared, but I don't know who it is. So over the next few days, take a look at the page and see what's going on, because we're going to figure out how to do this so you can win one of our new rabbits.
Oh, that's really, really cool. And I did get a text from Mrs. Sin. So the show was Tuesday, so it would have been Wednesday evening, saying that her Facebook had blown up, her webpage. She's gotten emails, texts, and everything from friends in the community saying how well she represented the lifestyle and how much they really liked the show. So we'd love to have her back, and possibly, others that want to come in and talk. And, I think it'd be fun to have you guys bring in like a sample box too, and have them, talk about it as well. I think that'd be really, really great. So Colleen, we are so glad to have you back in the pink on this Green Tuesday. We missed you.
I cannot believe I missed the cocktails. But
we will do it again.
I know that will happen again.
Absolutely. Megan, again, as always, your insight and, wow, the details that you know. Megan Vaughn, Colleen Bertino, Kelly Guest, thanks so much for checking out the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast. Go to Facebook and go to the Gr8 Nrthrn Sexcast. And Megan is so good. She'll put the links to all the stuff that we have discussed today so you can explore further and see some of these pictures that I wish I could unsee in some cases. All right, then. Back at you next week. Happy St. Pat's Day, everybody.
Happy St. Pat's Day.